You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
AGT and James Redmond.
Oh, where's your voice gone? Where's your voice gone? It's gone, lads. It's more gone than Newcastle's point there.
I think it's in Nick Pope's back pocket.
Is it?
The time-wasting rat. Anyway, talk to me about that performance. Wasn't the best, but when you have a feeling like that at the end of every game, I mean, obviously not every game, but when we get a feeling like that, it just makes you just forget about the 90 minutes before that. Because we weren't great.
We can't do that, but the start of this interview is going to be so much more different anyway, so I'll start off on the positive and then I'll finish on a more of a downer. But let's be dead real, like, you know, the players, what do I always ask for from the players? To never give up. That's the most important thing, especially if you're going through a bad patch. If you're going through a bad patch, go out there and show some fucking cojones, you know what I mean? And once you go out there and you can show that and demonstrate that to us, then we can leave the stadium and think, you know what, they didn't put their heads down, they went till the very last minute and they were more tenacious. The first 80 minutes of the game, no tenacity whatsoever. So how you're expecting to go into the game with that level of urgency and think that you're going to get 3 points against the Newcastle team who, ever since Eddie Howe's came in, have had a fire up their arse anyway, not to mention they had injuries and they still put in that same level of performance. So we have injuries, they have injuries, but still they can go out and put on a good show. Yet we still didn't hit the standards. But the last minute, honestly, and you've got to go till the last minute as well. Fabio Carvalho, mate. Don't fucking start. Don't start on me.
Don't you start on me.
He's fucking brilliant, lad. He's a really good footballer. The standouts today, I'd say Harvey and Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, them two. And people probably just think I'm doing it because Harvey's Harvey and, you know, whatever the fuck, and he supports us. But besides that, he goes out there, he tries to make things happen, and that's all I can ask for as a Liverpool fan. Always. But like you said though, we can't ignore the previous periods in the game, because I think if we weren't going to get a midfielder before, we're definitely not going to get one now.
Yeah, literally the transfer window shuts in 24 hours, so I can't see it. Mario still can't believe what's happening. Look at the state of it.
Mario!
Talk to me about Bobby Firmino. Gets another goal tonight. Not his best performance all round, but 3 and 2 as our number 9. Yeah,
no, he's done the job that he's needed to do. I've always said the criticism that I have with Firmino is he tries to do too much. He's trying to get too involved, which I respect and I admire.
Comes deep a lot.
Exactly, and sometimes that can be a detriment to the team when you're on a counter-attack. Firmino's all the way in CDM, like, that's not going to work out. So you've got to make sure that you're just getting into the game when you can, and that's why he scored, and it's why he scored and created against Bournemouth. Much better. But I've just had a gentleman then say to me, like, James, people like you, and I respect this because he came over in a very calm way and he was like, I don't like people like you and your point of view because we can't just go out and buy a midfielder. My issue with FSG, which I'm not going to ignore after that game, I'm not going to, my issue with FSG isn't just the lack of midfielders. My issue with them isn't just the fact that we're not going out and spending the way that we are. The reason why I have a problem with that though is because we proclaim we want to be competing for league titles and Champions Leagues, but the transfer window business says everything but different.
Transfer window business says get top 4.
But exactly, it doesn't even. To be honest with you, it doesn't even say that, because you're seeing teams like Nottingham Forest going out and spending money on 18 different players. I'm not saying we need that, but we went out and bought one. We bought Fabio Carvalho and Calvin Ramsey. One certainly for the future, not now. That's my number one issue. Not to mention the higher ticket prices, which people seem to forget about. They charging us 77 fucking quid to go to this stadium, which is unbelievable, but it's not the culture of this football club. They don't get the full culture of this football club. I went in today, tried to get a water. You know I haven't been too well recently, and I couldn't even get a fucking water. The tills weren't working. You can't afford to keep the tills working. They haven't even got tap water. So all the people in the line waiting to get a water, if someone's not well, they can't even go and get a cup of water from the staff. I live in Kirkdale and we get tap water, lads. Are these fucking mad? So don't be talking to me about just signings. That's not the only reason why I go FSG. They do not get good shot, whoever that was. They don't get the football culture of this football club. They don't get it. So that's why I always stand by the fact, regardless that, we could have worse owners and yet we could be in a worse position. Stop lying to us about expectations. Stop doing things like, you know, the Super League, that's probably going to come back in a few years. And all FSG wants, and if no one realises this, then I'm dead sorry, they want us to be in and around that top 6 for when that does arrive. Because that hasn't gone. Temporarily it has, but it's not gone completely. I think that's something that we both know. I feel like people are just putting wool over their eyes if the case. So even though I am proud of the players, I'm proud of the manager for fighting until the very last minute, we're still not going to go out and buy a midfielder. And that's even the least of our concerns, because we've still got owners who are going to look to maximise the most amount of money that they can get out of us as a fan base. which I get from a business point of view, but they obviously do not care about the football and culture that is at this football club. So if we ignore that, because Fabio Carvalho had a moment of brilliance, and our moment is to connect with him as a player, them as a team, Klopp as the manager. Everything beyond that, it seems very insincere. So we can't just ignore that just because we got the 3 points today. That's what I want to say there, because people seem to think it's just because of transfers. Transfers, love you too, brother. That's the lowest thing that you can do. It's not just the transfers, it's everything else, and they prove it over time.
It's a very good speech that I have to say, Jay, and it makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about going into the derby now. If we'd have drawn tonight, how would you have felt going into the derby compared to how we've won tonight?
Still nervous, still very nervous. I think Everton are going to be up for that game. Have they won a game yet? Have Everton won a game? Does anyone know? No, they haven't, have they? So if Everton haven't won a game, therefore they've got that urgency. Should we go out and beat them? Yes, but we should have went out and beat Fulham. We should have went out and beat Crystal Palace. We should have went out and beat Manchester United. The only game this season where we saw the level of performance that we should have saw was Bournemouth. Now, I'm not expecting you to win every single game of football, but readjust the expectations. And going into the Everton game, the expectation should be to win. But if we're going to go into that game with the same circumstances that we started the first 4 games, why are we expecting much difference? So I'm not saying we're going to lose or anything. I think we will win that game, but they have agency, and I don't know how much we do at the moment.
One word for the time wasting, the diving, the simulation, the fake injuries tonight from Newcastle.
Done everything they needed to do. Well done, Newcastle. I know that it's funny that the Geordie's going to have to go all the way home, crying the fucking eyes out, and believe me, I will drink those tears till the world comes back, baby.
Matty Renton, how are you doing, son?
But what a fight from their team, what an effort, what a performance, and again, tenacity from minute 1 from Newcastle. So from a footballing standpoint, if I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm happy with that.
Jay, top man, brother. Thank you so much for coming on again. James Redman, like, comment and subscribe.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stands, for a lot more Liverpool content.
Remember to check out our Shopify store for this beauty and much more. It's the new Luchito's Way Diaz t-shirt based on Luis Diaz and Carlito's Way. It's out now, designed by Ruby.
And there's going to be so many more.
There is. Make sure you're involved. Go and buy this now and use the Kop TV 15 for a little discount if you want.